Disasters don't wait. Are you truly prepared? Most Americans aren't, and FEMA knows it. From natural disasters to power outages, it's not a matter of if, but when. In this video, I'm breaking down the 10 essential items FEMA says every household needs in their emergency kit, plus a few life-saving extras most people overlook. I'm David, a survival gear expert with over a decade of research into FEMA's plans and real-world survival stories. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for number 9. It's a game changer. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips to stay ready and safe. 1. Water, the lifeline of survival. Let's start with the most critical item on FEMA's emergency kit list, water. It's not just a necessity, it's your lifeline. Without water, survival becomes nearly impossible in just a few days. That's why FEMA emphasizes storing at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for a minimum of 3 days. For a family of 4, that's 12 gallons. But let's be real, 3 days is the bare minimum. If you can, aim for a week or more. Why so much water? It's not just for drinking. That gallon per day also covers cooking, basic hygiene like washing your hands, and even brushing your teeth. When the taps run dry, every drop becomes precious. Imagine trying to cook a meal or clean a wound without water. It's a scenario you don't want to face unprepared. Now, how do you store it? The good news is that building a water supply doesn't have to break the bank. Start small by picking up gallon jugs from your local grocery store. They're usually around $1 each, and you can grab a couple during your regular shopping trips. Over time, you'll have a solid emergency stash. For those with more space, consider investing in larger containers like 5-gallon or 7-gallon water storage cubes. These are stackable, reusable, and often come with spouts for easy pouring. They're a smart option if you're short on storage space but want to maximize your supply. When storing water, location matters. Keep it in a cool, dark place away from direct sunlight and chemicals. Avoid areas like garages or sheds that can heat up, as high temperatures can degrade plastic containers and affect water quality. Don't forget about rotation. Even bottled water has a shelf life. Experts recommend replacing your stored water every 6 months to a year. A simple trick? Use a permanent marker to write the date on each container so you know when it's time to refresh your supply. Caught off guard without stored water? Don't panic. If you have advance warning of a disaster, fill up your bathtub immediately. This can give you dozens of extra gallons. You can also use clean soda bottles, pitchers, or pots to store water in a pinch. Just make sure the containers are thoroughly cleaned beforehand. 2. Non-perishable food. Fuel for the unexpected. Next up is food. Another essential that's easy to overlook until it's too late. FEMA recommends having at least 3 days' worth of non-perishable food for every person in your household. For a family of 4, that's 36 meals. It might sound like a lot, but with a little planning, it's easier to stock up than you think. Start with the basics. Canned goods. They're affordable, widely available, and have a long shelf life. Think canned beans, soups, vegetables, fruits, and proteins like tuna or chicken. These items are not only nutritious, but also versatile. You can eat them straight out of the can if needed, or use them to prepare simple meals. Another excellent option is MREs, meals ready to eat. These are the same meals used by the military and outdoor enthusiasts. They're compact, lightweight, and come fully packaged with utensils. Some even include flameless heaters so you can enjoy a warm meal without needing a stove or fire. Each MRE typically provides between 1,200 and 2,000 calories, making them a high-energy option for emergencies. For those looking for long-term solutions, freeze-dried meals are a game-changer. You've probably seen those big buckets at camping stores or online. They offer anywhere from 60 to 100 servings and can last up to 25 years if stored properly. While they're a bit pricier up front, they're a set-it-and-forget-it option that provides peace of mind. When storing food, keep it in a cool, dry place. Heat and humidity can shorten shelf life, so avoid areas like attics or garages. And just like with water, rotation is key. Check expiration dates regularly and replace items as needed. Don't forget about dietary needs. If someone in your household has allergies or specific dietary restrictions, make sure your emergency food supply accommodates them. And while it's not a necessity, consider adding comfort foods like chocolate or coffee. In a stressful situation, a small treat can go a long way in boosting morale. Hooray! Emergency radio, your lifeline to information. When disaster strikes, staying informed can mean the difference between safety and danger. That's why an emergency radio is a must-have in any survival kit. It's your direct line to real-time updates, weather alerts, and critical information from local authorities and the National Weather Service. Imagine this: a hurricane knocks out power in your area, your phone battery is dead, the internet is down, and there's no TV. How will you know if it's safe to leave your home or where to find emergency shelters? This is where an emergency radio becomes invaluable. FEMA specifically recommends a battery-powered or hand-cranked radio, ideally one that also has solar charging capabilities. These radios are designed to work in the most challenging conditions, ensuring you're never cut off from vital information. When choosing a radio, look for one with multiple power options. A hand crank is essential for generating power manually, especially if you're out of batteries. Solar panels are another great feature, allowing you to recharge the radio during the day. Many models also include USB ports, so you can charge them using a power bank, car, or laptop. Some of the best emergency radios come with additional features like built-in flashlights, emergency sirens, and even phone charging capabilities. Models like the Voyager, Eaton Sidekick, and Running Snail are popular choices that offer excellent value for money. To get the most out of your emergency radio, familiarize yourself with its functions before you need it. Practice tuning into AM, FM, and NOAA weather channels so you know how to find the information you need quickly. And don't underestimate the importance of staying calm and informed during a crisis. When Hurricane Sandy hit New York City in 2012, many residents were left in the dark, literally and figuratively. Entire neighborhoods had no idea where to find food stations or shelters because they didn't have access to emergency broadcasts. A simple crank radio could have made all the difference. In summary, an emergency radio isn't just a gadget, it's a lifeline. Make sure it's part of your kit, and you'll be better prepared to navigate whatever challenges come your way. 4. Comprehensive first aid kit, your at-home emergency room. No one likes to imagine getting injured during a disaster, but the reality is that accidents happen, and when they do, access to medical care might be delayed. That's why a well-stocked first aid kit is an absolute must-have in your emergency supplies. FEMA places it high on their list for good reason. It's your first line of defense when hospitals are overwhelmed, roads are blocked, or professional help is hours away. A basic first aid kit is a good start, but to truly be prepared, you'll want to go beyond the basics. Sure, adhesive bandages, sterile gauze pads, and antiseptic wipes are essential, but think about the real-world scenarios you might face. Cuts, burns, sprains, and even infections can escalate quickly if not treated properly. Your kit should also include medical tape, antibiotic ointment, tweezers, scissors, gloves, non-lytics, a thermometer, and pain relievers like ibuprofen or acetaminophen. Now let's talk about the extras that can make a huge difference. Burn gel is a lifesaver in situations like house fires, cooking accidents, or even heating water during a blackout. It cools the skin, reduces pain, and helps prevent infection. Over-the-counter medications are another must-have. Stock up on allergy meds like Benadryl, antidiarrheals like Imodium, and cold or flu medicine. These might seem minor, but they can be game changers in an emergency. If someone in your household relies on prescription medications, talk to your doctor about getting an extra 30 days supply to include in your kit. This can be a literal lifesaver if pharmacies are closed or inaccessible. One often overlooked aspect of first aid is infection control. In a prolonged emergency where clean running water might not be available, even a small cut can turn into a serious problem. That's why antiseptics, gloves, and sterile tools are so important. Consider adding items like alcohol wipes, hydrogen peroxide, and even a small bottle of hand sanitizer to your kit. Finally, don't forget to check your first aid kit regularly. Medications expire and supplies like bandages can lose their adhesive over time. Make it a habit to review and refresh your kit every 6 months. With a well-prepared first aid kit, you'll be ready to handle minor injuries and keep your family safe until professional help arrives. 5. Emergency whistle, the small tool that saves lives. At first glance, a whistle might seem like an odd addition to an emergency kit. After all, it's just a small, simple tool, but in a disaster scenario, this unassuming item can be the difference between being rescued and being overlooked. Imagine this: a tornado has ripped through your neighborhood, leaving debris everywhere. You're trapped under rubble, your phone is dead, and your voice is hoarse from yelling for help. How do you make yourself heard? This is where a whistle becomes invaluable. Its sharp, piercing sound can cut through the chaos and alert rescuers to your location. Let's look at real-world examples. During Hurricane Katrina, many survivors were trapped in their homes or on rooftops for days. First responders were searching neighborhoods by boat and helicopter, but with no power or communication, many people struggled to signal for help. Those who had whistles had a clear, loud way to get attention without exhausting themselves. When choosing a whistle, go for one that's loud and durable. Metal whistles are sturdy but can get hot or cold depending on the weather. Plastic whistles are lightweight and won't rust, making them a great option for emergency kits. Some whistles even come with built-in features like a compass or a small storage compartment for matches or medication. Keep your whistle in an easily accessible spot, like attached to your emergency backpack or on a lanyard. In a crisis, every second counts, and you don't want to waste time searching for it. A whistle might not seem like much, but its ability to amplify your voice and signal for help makes it an essential part of any emergency kit. It's a small investment that could make a life-saving difference when it matters most. 6. Respiratory protection, dust masks, and N95s. When disaster strikes, the air you breathe can quickly become a hazard. Whether it's smoke from wildfires, debris from an earthquake, or airborne pathogens during a pandemic, protecting your lungs is crucial. That's why FEMA recommends including dust masks or, even better, N95 respirators in your emergency kit. Let's break it down. In many disasters, air quality takes a nosedive. Wildfires fill the air with smoke and ash, earthquakes stir up dust and debris, and industrial accidents can release toxic chemicals. Even something as simple as cleaning up after a storm can expose you to mold and other harmful particles. At the most basic level, you have standard dust masks. These are inexpensive and better than nothing, but they offer minimal protection. They're good for blocking large particles like sawdust, but won't do much against fine ash, smoke, or pathogens. Surgical masks, the kind many of us became familiar with during the pandemic, are a step up. They're designed to protect others from your respiratory droplets, but they don't form a tight seal around your face. This means they offer limited protection against airborne particles. For serious protection, N95 respirators are the gold standard. These masks are designed to filter out 95% of airborne particles as small as 3 microns. They include smoke, dust, bacteria, and even viruses. The key to their effectiveness is the fit. N95s form a tight seal around your nose and mouth, ensuring that most of the air you breathe is filtered. When choosing masks for your emergency kit, consider the needs of your household. If you have children, look for smaller sizes designed to fit their faces. If someone has facial hair, keep in mind that it can interfere with the seal of an N95. It's also a good idea to include a few extra masks in your kit. They can get dirty or damaged, and having backups ensures you're always protected. Store them in a cool, dry place to maintain their integrity. In a disaster, the air around you can become a silent threat. By including dust masks or N95 respirators in your emergency kit, you're taking a simple but powerful step to protect your health and safety. 7. Plastic sheeting and duct tape, your DIY safe zone. At first glance, plastic sheeting and duct tape might seem like an odd addition to an emergency kit. It sounds more like something you'd use for a weekend home project than a survival tool, but don't underestimate this duo. FEMA includes them on their official list for a very important reason. Together, they can help you create a sealed, safe environment when the air outside becomes hazardous. Here's the scenario. Imagine there's a nearby industrial accident releasing toxic chemicals into the air, or a train derailment spills dangerous substances. Maybe it's even a biological threat or radioactive fallout. In these situations, evacuating might not be an option, and staying put could be your safest choice. That's where plastic sheeting and duct tape come in. The goal is to create a shelter-in-place environment, a sealed-off room in your home that keeps contaminated air out. To do this, you'll need to choose an interior room with as few windows and doors as possible, like a bathroom or laundry room. Use the plastic sheeting to cover vents, windows, and any gaps where outside air could enter. Then seal the edges with duct tape to make it airtight. If you take your time in designing your cabin, make it sheet to make it airtight. When buying plastic sheeting, look for heavy-duty options, typically labeled as 4 to 6 mil thick. This ensures it's durable enough to withstand tears or punctures. As for duct tape, go for a high-quality brand that sticks well to various surfaces. Cheap tape might peel off or lose its grip, which defeats the purpose. It's also a good idea to practice setting up your shelter-in-place room before an emergency happens. Knowing how to quickly and effectively seal off a space can save precious time when every second counts. And don't forget to include a pair of scissors or a utility knife in your kit to cut the plastic sheeting to size. While it might not be the most glamorous item on the list, plastic sheeting and duct tape are incredibly versatile. Beyond creating a sealed room, they can also be used for temporary repairs, waterproofing, or even as a makeshift tarp. In a crisis, this simple combo could be the barrier that keeps your family safe. Sanitation supplies, staying clean when it counts. Let's talk about one of the least glamorous but most essential parts of emergency preparedness, sanitation. It's not the first thing that comes to mind when you think about survival, but trust me, it's critical. FEMA recommends stocking up on items like moist towelettes, garbage bags, and plastic ties for a reason. When the water stops running and the toilets stop flushing, things can get messy, fast. In a disaster, losing access to plumbing is more common than you might think. Whether it's a power outage, flood, or earthquake, you could find yourself without a working toilet or sink. And poor hygiene in these situations can lead to infections, illnesses, and even disease outbreaks, especially if you're stuck indoors with your family for days. So, what should you include in your sanitation kit? First up, moist towelettes. These are your go-to for staying clean when there's no running water. Use them to wash your hands, clean your face, or wipe down surfaces. Alcohol-based wipes are especially useful because they also disinfect. You can find them in bulk at warehouse stores or in travel-size packs for go bags. Next, garbage bags and plastic ties. These are essential for waste management. When your toilet doesn't flush, you'll need a backup plan. The simplest solution is a bucket toilet. Line a 5-gallon bucket with a heavy-duty trash bag, do your business, and tie it off. You can even place the bag in your toilet bowl if you prefer to sit as usual. Just make sure the water line is turned off. After each use, tie the bag tightly and store it outside in a sealed trash can until proper disposal is possible. Having extra garbage bags on hand is also helpful for regular trash, wet clothes, or isolating contaminated items if someone is sick. And don't forget to include hand sanitizer, soap, and a small bottle of bleach in your kit. Bleach can be diluted with water to disinfect surfaces or even purify water in a pinch. Sanitation might not be the most exciting part of emergency prep, but it's one of the most important. By planning ahead, you can avoid turning a bad situation into a health crisis. 9. Wrench and pliers, tools for control. When disaster strikes, having the right tools can make all the difference. That's why FEMA recommends including a wrench and pliers in your emergency kit. These aren't just for fixing things, they're for taking control of potentially dangerous situations. Let's say an earthquake hits your area and damages your gas line, or a flood contaminates your water supply. If you can't shut off your utilities quickly, you risk turning a bad situation into a catastrophic one. That's where a wrench and pliers come in. A gas shutoff wrench is a must-have. Most homes have a shutoff valve near the gas meter, and it only takes a quarter turn to stop the flow of gas. But here's the catch. Many people don't know where their shutoff valve is, let alone how to use it. Take the time now to locate your gas and water shutoff valves and learn how to operate them. Your emergency kit should include an adjustable wrench, which is versatile enough to handle gas and water valves, and a sturdy pair of pliers for extra grip or cutting power. A multi-tool is also a great addition for smaller tasks around the house or car. Pro tip: attach your gas shutoff wrench directly to your gas meter with a zip tie, or store it nearby. In an emergency, the last thing you want to do is dig through a cluttered toolbox. These tools aren't just for shutting off utilities, they can also be used for emergency repairs, like securing a tarp over a broken window, adjusting a generator, or even fixing a leaky pipe. The key is to practice using them before you actually need them. A wrench and pliers might not seem like survival gear, but in an emergency, they give you the power to protect your home and your family. 10. Manual can opener, the unsung hero of survival. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about the humble manual can opener. It might not sound like a big deal, but when the power goes out and your electric can opener is useless, this small tool becomes a lifesaver. Think about it. You've stocked up on canned food, soups, beans, vegetables, fruits. Great job. But how are you going to open them without a can opener? A manual can opener is cheap, compact, and absolutely essential for accessing your emergency food supply. Not all manual can openers are created equal, though. Some are awkward to use, rust easily, or break after a few uses. When choosing one, look for a sturdy stainless steel model with a comfortable grip and a smooth cutting motion. Military-style P38 or P51 can openers are great as backups. They're compact and often included in MRE kits, but they can be tough on the hands. Pro tip, don't store your can opener separately from your food supplies. Keep it in the same bin or bag as your canned goods so you're not scrambling to find it when you're hungry and tired. And consider having more than one. Toss a spare in your car emergency kit or bug-out bag. While you're at it, include some utensils or mess kits in your food stash. Opening a can of chili with no spoon in sight isn't exactly ideal. The manual can opener might not be flashy, but it's one of the most practical tools you can have in an emergency. When the lights go out, you'll be glad you have it.